All right. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Thanks again for everybody coming. It's 4 o'clock on a Friday, and so I really appreciate it. So let me just give you just brief rundown of our school and our program and why we're working with Fab Academy and the advantages of it. And at one point, we're going to jump to a different presentation my students make to other kids that are thinking about doing Fab Academy with every year. We started teaching engineering, computer science in the early 80s, late 80s, early 90s. So we're kind of doing STEAM before we had a name for it. We were using Lego robotics like everybody. And then by 2012, the maker movement was coming in, digital fabrication. We were the first school in the United States to use Raspberry Pi computers as part of that. And joined the Fab Foundation back in 2016 because we've hosted robotic programs. We do First Lego League. They're all great programs. So I'm no way besmirching. Those are great opportunities. But I think we were ready for something more. And so we started going into digital fabrication. We wanted a Fab Lab. We thought the way to be a Fab Lab was to join the Fab Foundation and do Fab Academy. So since then, we're doing AI camps back since 2018. 2019, we became 2016. A couple teachers and myself graduated from Fab Academy. We had students that wanted to start taking the class, which I never thought we were going to, and we did it. And so 2019, we started off from Fab Academy to high school kids, and now we are actually working on a Cisco Academy and going into data analytics. So what I just want to point out, we're a liberal arts school and we're doing this. This complements what I think a well-rounded education is. We believe ultimately, and when I say we were doing STEM before the name, what is that really? Well, it's project-based learning, hands-on, minds-on. The balance always is academic rigor and engagement. It's easy to do one or the other. It's easy to make something very challenging. You can have death by PowerPoint, that kind of stuff, or you can make it super engaging, but is there really any learning going on? And so it's trying to get that fine line. I think everybody here, that's what everybody's working to try to do, just those things. So then, like I said, we start out with robots. We built the world's largest paper airplane back then for about a month, and the record immediately got broken. And then we have a pond, and we had kids paddle cardboard boats around the pond. So then two was that digital fabrication. And I'm going to get into what Fab Academy is here in a minute. But these are all, what I'm showing you here, are all projects done by my students that are generally sophomores or juniors. And what's great about it, it gets into all the different topics that we have in digital fabrication, from microcontrollers and coding, 3D printing, and networking. And I really want to say now, I'm going to say again, I really want more high schools to join us. There are in Fab Academy, we'll get to that in a moment, just simply say, you've heard it earlier, Sherry talked about it, there's, I guess, 2,700 labs. Of those, there's a small 70 labs or so offer that class called Fab Academy. We're one of them. So in case you're wondering on that, which now has led us to internships. I think, personally, STEM 3.0 is doing internships. And I think but to do an internship that's relevant for both the student and for the folks you're working with, they have to have skills. Fab Academy gives our kids the digital fabrication skills to do Honeywell, to work at these companies while they're still at school. And if you have a Fab Lab, they can do the work at school. They've learned how to document it. It's been very successful, and now it's expanded. I'm the head of it's called innovation design. It's basically applied math, applied science, and I'm responsible for engineering, computer science education. So real quickly, so I'm giving you, I want you to get context how we're doing this lab. We have STEM education, just like many of the kindergarten, pre-K, elementary schools. They get to share our labs. Middle school, it kind of kicks in a little bit more, going a little bit deeper down. There we go, the robotics competition, always a crowd pleaser, and I would highly recommend any Fab Lab. Throw a Sumo Bots. It doesn't cost you anything. We've done first, but Sumo Bots is free. You can use any robot, and the parents really love it. And then based on what we've done there, the freshman year, so I'll give you the layout of how our labs being used and what we're doing, say, in our engineering program. Freshman year, they go through, and it's modeled after the Fab Academy's class, where you go and learn to use a different tool and how to document it. And then we go through each of the machines doing personal projects as they go along. Those kids that really enjoy it, we're going to show another screen in a minute, go on to do Fab Academy. But it's got to be kids that are passionate about it. The other kids, though, this bleeds into all of our other programs. So we offer I'm right now teaching an aerospace class. So a lot of the skills, we're making foam airplanes. We're using our laser cutter. We can do them much, much cheaper. The kids get a much more materials to work with because we can make them in the lab and they're much cheaper. And then we follow bioengineering, civil, electrical through the course of, say, their sophomore, junior year, and then their senior year is a capstone project. They can build for a year whatever they want, and we have a little bit of building whatever you want throughout the 4 years. But the final senior year is your senior project, or you actually do an internship. Okay. So what is Fab Academy? I'm going to show you really real quick here. Now, clearly, that was all in Spanish, but you've got the subtitles, so I think you get the gist of it. It's global in its scale. The story is Neil was teaching a class, Neil Gershenfeld of MIT, on how to make almost anything. Lots of people wanted to do the class, and in the Boston area, it jumped in the wild and it spread all over the world. But it's almost all college and postgraduate students. Okay. Let me
Just
go
so you
next.
know, for if there's any other videos, that one didn't have sound.
And that's fine because that one was Spanish.
I
So that's
figured, so I left it go.
thank you very much. So no, don't do that. Now, let me get back out here. Let me go. Let's go. Bear with me. I'm sorry, folks. Let me go. All right. Now, this, for example, was built by one of our students last year, a disability forewarning system. He has Tourette syndrome. This machine works. If you walk, police officer walks up to the car, that little networking sign right down there pops up, says, hey, I have Tourette's. I'm not threatening you. I am not being rude. I just get nervous and I suffer from that. So if you go through the class, you get these pretty amazing skills. Now, I'm going to switch here because I want you to see what's in the class and how involved it is. So, because there's going to be people asking, well, how many hours a week and how long do these kids spend their time in it? So let me go here. And so every year when we offered the class, we thought the student who wanted to do it was a young lady, and we thought she was a tremendous student. And we thought, well, maybe that's just one person who wanted to do it. And then 4 people wanted to do it. And now we take 10. But by having the Fab Lab and going through the Fab Foundation or all their training, everything we've learned in Fab Academy, we can apply to the rest of the school and what we're doing. So, but we always have lots and lots of kids coming in the first day. And we're a school of 1,400, K through 12. We have 24 kids come in. They want to do Fab Academy. They hear about it. They want the challenge, the whole 9 yards. So then we have a meeting, and myself and Dr. Taylor is an instructor in Fab Academy, graduated with me in 2016. We talked to him about the commitment. So the commitment, folks, is 35 hours a week starting now till the middle of June. And the end of June, it's even going to be more hours on top of their regular school. So this is true commitment. Half that time's in the lab. The other half is documenting everything they're doing. But you know what? They still all want to do it. I think they smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've heard of classes are hard. It's when we have the students explain it to them, they get much more, and they still want to do it. Most of them still want to do it, but it gives them a real assessment. So this is what the kids have come up with. Fast-paced, hands-on learning. You're doing a lab every week. Neil Gershenfeld of MIT is teaching the course, and it's amazing. It's a round-the-world program. But then you see kind of a schedule. On Wednesday nights, we're 3 to 9, Thursdays, 3 to 5. Sometimes you're working on the weekends, sometimes you're working on the weekdays. The last few weeks, so if you work here, then you're working at home. And it really does work out 30 to 40 hours a week. We allow the kids to finish up their winter sports, but in the spring, they have to make a hard choice. And we do lose really good students every year because they want to do spring lacrosse or something. All right. Summertime, it's even more hours. School's over and they've got to get their final project done because when you do Fab Academy, the local instructors evaluate the projects, then they're passed to Neil to look at them, and then a global instructor looks at their work. So they're always having lots of people looking at it. And this is what the kid said. Participation in other activities during the course would be straining, if not impossible. Your sleep schedule will not like you if you did that. So, and here's some of the, gifts and, some memes they've done. You get a new machine, new project every day. I like a project I'm working on, treading water, new idea I'm all excited about, older unfinished projects. Now, it's kids getting used to no idea what I'm doing, but please don't explode because there's a new machine, a new project. You can't just memorize. You can't just memorize. And that's one of the things that a real benefit of your kids doing Fab Academy. They really have to understand what they're doing, and they have to, it helps with grit. And by the way, globally, about 60 to 70% of the people pass Fab Academy, and our school 70 to 80. So it's not a participation trophy. You don't really fail. You can go back to next year and catch up. So don't worry, you can get it done. But a lot, some people don't come back, to be honest with you. But I also think it's good in schools where we talk about grade inflation. There's none of that here. All right. Great. One of another student, quick take from Graham. If you didn't document, you didn't do it. And that's exactly another important thing is they're having to learn how to document all their work, which then when they go to do internships, go to college, go to work, that really is a skill that's really in demand. Fab Academy students, my friends enjoying basic human needs. So what I got to stress on this is when they do it, like here's another one. Hey, there's enough sleep, social life, Fab diploma. Much easier if you don't have a social life right then, as we're joking. There's a person made this meme of the eyes. There he is sleeping over the side. Aaron, who's a great guy, young man who's now a Park scholar at NC State studying engineering. They also have to do a lot of group work. And, these are all usually pretty strong students. They're not used to having to work in groups, or they resent working for groups because they feel like they do all their own projects. Well, there's some things to work on that, and then, who did the work, all those. So the reason we like it, and I'll go right to that. I'm going to jump a final project. You have this big final project. We show the videos. You have to present it around the world. It's very cool for that. And then this is our motto. No one cares. Work harder, work smarter, because you're going to have setbacks. And it's not to be coarse. It's just reminding everybody else has had setbacks. The teachers who took this course had setbacks. You'll get setbacks. It's how you respond to those setbacks. And that's the main thing. And you can do it. And so the good side is I wanted you to see this. And this is what the kids said. Learning how to make their own circuit bar. It's hard, but also really cool. Nothing beats seeing your very own handmade Arduino come to life. We don't just use Arduinos, folks. We mill and make our own, and the kids can do it. You get to meet all these amazing people. You get to, as a teacher, the reason we like it is we get to know the kids. We get a relationship with the kids that you normally don't. I used to coach sports. It feels very much like that. We believe in it. Like I say, there's 2,000, at this time, there was 2,000 Fab Labs, 250 proceeding in Fab Academy. And this will make your school step out. Now the numbers are up to 10, and it's been 10 every other year. So those are the reasons we like it. And I can't stress enough on teaching the kids grit and having to solve problems. We do not want them helpless when they get out of school, leaving high school. We want them to figure out ways to what to do. So, that Fab Lab gets us in the Fab Foundation, allows us Fab Academy, internships, entrepreneurial opportunities. I can show you things about that. Make amazing senior projects, which you then can tie into science engineering fairs. Just they can do that. One story I will point out down here. Remember, in the beginning of the pandemic, people were dying. The doctors in China passed. The doctors in New York City and nurses were dying. We had a student that was a Fab Academy graduate, so she was still at her school, come to us during that spring break and say, my parents are both doctors. We don't have PPE. What can we do? And the kids and the teachers quickly prototyped ideas. We worked with the local maker community to scale up, worked with the local university, got injection molding going, and helped lead a team of 114 face shields. We gave them to any person who needed a face shield during the pandemic. And it didn't cost them anything. So we were very proud of that. I would say, so summing this up, and this is our computer science track, it's networking, cybersecurity, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and then we do entrepreneurship, social innovation. That's all part of it, as opposed to just say the traditional track, which we do have. We're taking the same methodology for Networking Academy. But coming back to it, I would just throw out to you I'll give 5 minutes here so you have time to ask questions, is if STEM 1 was building robots out of kids, which we big advocates, STEM 2 is digital fabrication. STEM 3, I think, is like I mentioned earlier, I believe it is doing co-ops. But the key is, and I have adult children, is like, well, hey, Dad, yeah, we'd like to have a co-op, but we don't have time to babysit anybody. So I think by setting these partnerships up with schools, they go in and they contribute. And then they learn things you cannot learn necessarily in school. So let me go back up to this one company. I'll give you a perfect example. See King Tut's Curse, an Appalachian outlaw? That's an escape room. One of our students started bidding on work for doing the escape room while they were in high school. They now made the problems that people use in that escape room. So they use the RFID card. So if you move the mummy's head or something, the door opens. They were doing that. But in the process of doing that, they had to negotiate the first job. They had to come up with a bill of materials. They had to figure out what the cost, what to do when the person said, I don't want to spend that much. And they had to it was just all these soft skills you're normally never going to get in a real school setting. And as our speaker said earlier today, if it's tribe, the kids know it. But when it's really a job and they're thinking about it, I can't match that in a school. If you look over here on the project overview with the continuity test rigger, that's with Rhythm Link. It's a school, that company in South Carolina that's nearby, but it's about 75 miles away. But because of our Fab Lab and because of the skills we teach our kids all by the time they're seniors, because not everybody has to go to a Fab Academy, you can spread these skills out with other students. They're able to, because they've learned how to document and use GitHub, they're able to do the work in our lab and then send it down to the folks at Rhythm Link, who then approved it. And our students built a piece of equipment that honestly, a couple college students, they finished a project that a couple years of college students never could finish. So they really are going to come out of this having some really strong digital fabrication skills. But more importantly, work. And I think we believe STEM 3.0 is, if you think about it, is the ultimate project-based learning. And so let me come back here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, I guess, and see if I can answer any questions. Am I stopped sharing my screen?
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat.
I'm right here too, so we're all good.
Yep, or unmute. I
Uh,
actually do have a question myself.
okay.
What did your students use to document their projects?
So the normal high school, middle school kids, we start documenting very early. We use Google Sites.
Okay. So they
You
just
know,
kind of made their own site for their specific
yes,
project.
Google Slides. It depends what it is. Some projects, uh, they end up making a little bit of a poster, a digital poster on their project.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that's what we use. And we try to open it up so um, kids can share it with their employers. I will tell you some really good stories about that. We've had students go on, get into very good colleges, go into try to get an elite work internship, and they actually show them some of their high school work. We've had alumni of the school that are professional engineers in their mid 20s leave their jobs, come back and do Fab Academy with us to get a better job. I don't know if many high schools have their students coming back to do better.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. So I have a question.
Sure.
Logistical. So do the students press pause on the regular curriculum to participate for the
Nope.
semester?
Nope.
So
Nope.
it's after regular
After
classes.
school, it requires some of us teachers to be here late. But
Got it.
this should be the kids and I didn't show it in the one slide. There was reasons not to do Fab Academy. Or these are not good reasons to do Fab Academy. One is because I think it'll look good on my college application. One is my parents think it's a good idea or my friends are doing it. This should be the kind of young lady who on a Friday night at 6 o'clock, she's working on her 3D printer.
Yeah.
Or a young man who's getting up in the morning and a part of the robotics team and loves that kind of stuff. This should be that kind of person doing the class.
Yeah. Wow.
That answers, the feedback we're getting from our alumni who've done the class and gone to college and now working has been really
Yeah.
very inspiring. So we're very excited. We're going to keep doing it. We're looking for other high schools. We will gladly work with any other high school to help you guys do it.
I'm in the Boston area. I would love to help with that.
Oh, good.
Um,
You're right down the road from Neil.
yeah, and I know Susan Klimzak's at an interesting high school. Do you know her?
No, I do not.
She was with the South End Technology Center for years to learn
Gotcha.
to teach to learn, and I wonder if she'd be, yeah.
Well, we would
The
love
wheels
to
are
work with
turning.
anybody. Yeah, there's a couple schools that are looking at it pretty seriously to do it. It's a commitment by the school, but I will tell you, when parents come through and look at our school, we get a lot of students that come to our school because they're interested in this opportunity.
Mhm.
So I think it would make in a public school setting, I think it'd be a great magnet school offering.
Absolutely.
And it's aimed at kids that probably some of our kids don't go on to be engineers, but most of the kids that do the class are thinking either computer science or engineering, or they find out they don't want to be, which is just as valuable.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Anybody else? I was worried about going too long, so I think I went a little short on this.
Actually, you finished perfectly. We only have 2 minutes left to spare, so
Great.
there aren't any other questions. We'll hang around here for a bit, but feel free to hop back into the main room, or just hang here until they pull us all back in. Thank you very much, Tom.
You bet, folks. And again, we're happy to help anyone. Happy ShopBots, great tool, Sally.